To this point in time, we've spent some discussion around behavioral economics and how it impacts clients. We've introduced the concept, Linda, that advisors being human, it also impacts advisors. I'm interested, does behavioral economics impact prospecting by advisors?
Dramatically. For millennia, it was pretty well known that there were two sort of major motivators for human behavior, the move toward pleasure and the move away from pain. And now that we understand loss aversion, it turns out that those two motivators, while valid, are not anywhere near equal. Most people will become much more active, now I love this terminology, to avoid the perceived possibility of pain. Not even real pain, the perceived possibility of pain, then they will get active toward moving toward a pleasurable result. Now, how does this affect prospecting? Well, first of all, unfortunately, so many practitioners in our industry have been taught from a brain point of view what might be the single worst way to ask for an introduction or a referral. You have a client who's happy with something you've done, and now you may have been taught to say, well, who else do you know who might need this kind of help? Now, let's take that apart from a brain science point of view. The brain is remarkably compliant. Example, think about a pink elephant. And you are, aren't you? So when I say to a client, who else do you know? The compliant brain immediately says, who else do I know? Who are the parents of the children that my kids go to school with? Who do I work with? Who do I play golf with? Who do I go to church with? Who are the people in my neighborhood? And the brain says, too much, and it shuts down. And now we make it worse. Who else do you know who might need this kind of help? Which presupposes that everybody in America is sitting around talking to their friends and relatives about their finances, which of course they're not. It's private. And by the way, when your clients do talk to friends and relatives about their finances, they're mostly not telling the truth. People who are on the way up tend to maximize. People, as you know, who are truly comfortable tend to minimize. So it's almost an unanswerable question. And the client, remember, this is a happy client, doesn't want to hurt your feelings, wants to be compliant and helpful to you, and says, let me think about it. And in the brain, this is registered as a loss. I didn't get what I was looking for, a name, an introduction, and it feels like a loss. Now, it takes tremendous self-discipline to go after loss after loss after loss in hopes that you get a gain. So why not do this from a more brain-friendly way? What I always tell people is when you're seeking an introduction, first of all, narrow the universe. Don't make it everybody you know. If you narrow the universe and then link what you ask to what you've done for the client. An example, you have a client who's selling a business. Maybe the client has 2 or 3 partners. Then I say, after I have helped the business succession plan get rolling, who is helping your partners? About 10 years ago, my mother passed away and left to my sisters, my 3 sisters and myself, in trust, a rather large oceanfront property. And it was a heart-wrenching decision to sell this house, but we did. And interesting to me, a large property held by 4 people equally, of whom I was one, my own financial advisor, my own accountant, my own attorney, all of them involved to some degree. Not one had the presence of mind to say, who's helping your sisters? Here's what we're going to ask you to do. Look at your calendar over the next, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Who are you meeting with? Who's having a transition? Do you have somebody who's inherited money? They probably aren't the only heir. Who is helping the other heirs? Do you have somebody transitioning a business? Do you have a client about to retire? They probably spent a whole career working with other people who are about to retire. Narrow the universe and link the ask. And then post just one example of your plans to do so.